Welcome everybody to a rather interesting play series. It's actually going to be a fun run because this is a visual novel game, and I don't know if you know the genre itself, but basically it's a little different than The Walking Dead or, you know, The Wolf Among Us from Telltale Games, where the game actually kind of shows you what's happening in the story and you just kind of interact with it a little bit, like an interactive visual story. No, this is literally just reading the story with some interactive choices. So you could almost not kind of call it a game, but it is still considered a game, a visual novel game. So yeah, it's definitely a little niche genre in of itself. Now, I was turned into this particular game from a couple viewers, actually, from Peers EC community and a couple other communities, where they said, you know, we'd be really interested to have you, you know, play this and see what your thoughts are on this. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I've looked up into it, read into it, and I saw that there was a lot of good cult following about it, but also a lot of controversy too. So the title is Katawa Shoujo, and I think I totally butchered that, and I'm gonna get like hate mail or something because I totally butchered the saying of it. But in the Japanese translation, it means crippled girls, and that's not necessarily a good connotation, especially in Japanese culture. But although the naming convention is unfortunate, the developers actually kind of stuck with it and decided, hey, what the heck, we're going to stand by our title, because that's pretty much what it's all about. It's about crippled girls and learning to heal and everything from, you know, tragedy and crisis and things like that. So it's just amazing that I think that this was all pulled together from users from 4chan, a sub forum, I guess, of Reddit, in the Reddit community. And it's just people from across the world, across the globe, just kind of gathered together and just created this game. Not even AAA blockbuster people, mind you. Just people like you and me just get together and just create this game. And so that in itself is an accomplishment. And, you know, bravo to you for doing things like that. You know, we need more indie developers of, you know, professional quality, you know, for just doing this out of the passion that they have for the game. Now, when people think about visual novels, they think of more like erotica, where you can kind of do this, or, you know, things like that. But from my understanding and from what I've read and what I've heard about this game, you get more of the response like this. And so you're supposed to be hit in the feels, you know? You're just like, oh gosh, this is so... can't contain, you know? That's what you're supposed to feel when you play this particular game. So I'm gonna see if it's gonna make me cry. If you're gonna see me cry on camera, so we'll. Walking Dead did it though, with the death of one of the characters in episode 3. Oh my gosh, that got me. Oh, it's terrible. I just couldn't contain myself. It was, you know, I'm a parent, you know, and that affected me deeply. But we're gonna give this a go and see how it plays. So, don't know how far I'm going to go in this first episode, but we'll have to see. I might have to split it into multiple parts. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. Naked, very good choice. We're already off to a good start. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous... is that spelled correctly? The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. Uh-oh. We already see where this is going. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes. The note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. Not very observant, are you there? As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. That it does. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like the time has slowed to a crawl. Like the story so far. Ooh, sound. I hear sound. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Don't drop the soap. Hisao? You came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognized the owner of the dainty voice instantly. Dainty. I love the adjectives here. Or the adverbs. One of the two. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Oh, so that's what I look like. Okay. Cool. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. Was it yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Ah, yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. So, you didn't really take the initiative. You told your friend to take the initiative. You should have just gone out with her friend, because apparently she was more bold than her. Okay, anyway. Going on. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. What's going on? That's a heartbeat. My heart is pounding now as if it were trying to burst from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Wouldn't call wind in the branches cacophonous, but sure. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. This is like a bad romance novel so far. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. This is like classic fan fiction, actually, the way it's been written. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. They're gonna do it! So early in the... My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see... Oh, there's that heartbeat again. I wanted to know... if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. This music doesn't sound so good already. Hisao! My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Ooh, he's having a heart attack! Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. Wow, he just had a heart attack, dude. He just fell. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help of the branches above. Well, this game ended fast, didn't it? The main story protagonist just died or something. There goes that. Oh, I'm being resuscitated, okay. Back to life. What an interesting way to introduce yourselves. Okay. Alright. Anonymous. Okay, so I'm getting an IV drip of a sort. Looks like good anime work. I can see that right now. Good animation. Hey, it's full motion video animation. I mean, this seems professional so far, so this is really good. Kind of a weird intro. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Wow, that sucks. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you've left alone with your thoughts. So I thought I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. Oh, I've heard of that, actually. I've had a friend who had that condition. It's very life-shortening, I can tell you that. She's doing fine, still. But She's had to alter a lot of things she does. A strange word, a foreign, alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. They both just felt dead tired about my feet. Oh gosh, I'm an orphan! I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Yeah, there's no cure for this. Of course there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and the all-get-well gifts began to trickle down to nothing shortly thereafter. Because nobody cares about you! In the long run, nobody cares! I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turning into a class project. See? It's just to get a grade. You're now just a grade, Hisao. That's all you are to your friends back at home. People were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. Oh, that burns, man. That burns. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. Yeah, because she probably feels responsible for you croaking on her. The hospital. It's not really a place I'd like to live in. Oh gosh. Doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. And they have lack of bedside manner. It's not something you can teach, it's something that you just have. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. He's lying to you. So, I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest, slowly changing its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. Yeah, there's too much bad stuff going on TV right now. You don't want to see that crap. Makes you more depressed. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. Feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. Oh, I loved them. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly hard to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what type of day or what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. Sometimes happens often. It's called procrastination. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that only happened rarely. And I couldn't even cry. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. Oh, I gotta go into this patient's room. He's gonna die, but I gotta be happy for him. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. I don't remember it being my birthday. This is the ritual. The head cardiologist... Oh, I'm totally reading it wrong. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make the point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down at the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment and says, "I love you." Oh wait, sorry, wrong. "Hello, Hisao. How are you today?" I don't answer him. I just stare at him evilly. "Why don't you say you love me?" But I smile back. Just a little. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions you should be fine. And a buttload of drugs. We all have your medication." Yep, We all have your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. It's like, there goes my payment premiums, there goes our retirement, there goes everything we had for the rest of our lives. Everything I've saved up, gone. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are all listed line after line with cold precision. You mean it's not like in a scrambled drawl or something, like most doctors scribble? I try to read them, but it's so futile, because it's just, chicken scratch. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this, for the rest of my life, every day? Oh, gosh. I'm afraid that this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. They all hate you there anyway. Please calm down, Hiso. They only hate you a little bit. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down. The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? The horror. We're homeschooling our own boys. There's nothing wrong with being homeschooled. Nothing. Whatever my concerns shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamato Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it really was that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Good points. Of course, that's only if you want to go. But your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. Determination, and you always can try. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back, so I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a gosh darn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, special school, that's an insult. This is what I want to say. It's a step down. He's just not taking the proper perspective on this, is he? He's being prejudiced. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help, in one way or another. Your father's right. And many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. See, the doctor's got his right head on the shoulders. Just because you have a disability does not mean you can't do things. You can actually do quite a variety of things, and there have been countless, just success stories all over the place. It's actually pretty miraculous and amazing, One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is I know that it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospitals, doctors, my conditions, everything. Even the music has left us at this point. I've taken way too long to read through this. The music has stopped. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this. But the thought of going to the disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. This is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start. And my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. The music again? Okay, cool. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. So we are off to a very depressing start on this game. Wow. Oh, he's got a little broken heart. Act 1, life expectancy. Okay. I think I've been recording for a little while right now. I'm going to call this first episode here before we get any further in. I know we just started this game and Act 1 is just begun, but you know, this is a good stopping point for an introduction to this game. And we'll get started right into life expectancy in the next video. So this should be fun. I'm already enjoying myself reading this. Some of the writing is pretty interesting. So we'll see more about this and see where it goes. I think the first, I guess that was the prologue. The prologue is pretty much just setting up the whole what's going to happen for the remainder of the game. You know, it's setting up the scene, the scenario. You know, he's now disabled, as it were. He's, I guess you could say, crippled, if you want to go by the connotation of the title of the game. And now he's going to a school for, you know, people who have disabilities like him. And so I guess I'm going to assume that throughout the course of this game, he's going to come to terms with who he is now. You know, he's no longer part of his old life. He's now probably going to be having to embrace his new one. And I think this game is all about having him come to that realization. Or not, I don't know. There's choices to be made in this game, so I might end up being like a complete jerk and not come to grips, and we're going to have some bad endings. I have no idea. So let's give it a quick save. Create a new save state. Woohoo! Alright, and we'll come back to Act 1 in the next video. See y'all later.